as noted in painful detail in multiple videos earlier this week, the garlic is out and hung. Going to turn that into spinach and lettuce. That probably will go in the next day or two. Seeds arrive, but it's too damn hot today to plant them. It's like in the 90s here. Great for the tomatoes, not so good for Tim bending over in the sun. So, onions. Now notice how the onions are kind of semi-floppy. I looked at a lot of videos this week about harvesting onions, and even built a onion drying rack, 4 foot by 8 foot, which I'll put up on buckets, photo to follow. And what I see in all those videos is much more upright stands of onions than what we have here. And I don't know if it's because maybe I knocked these over while weeding, while jumping over to get on the grass, but they're a little flopped over compared to most of the onion beds I saw. So maybe next year I'll have to be a little more careful and protect the onions better. Nonetheless, many onions to harvest. I'm not sure about the ones that have flopped over, if they will be stunted, to be determined. So the peas are being left to go to seed, as mentioned before. Nothing really from the climbing beans, so the dock, which are like over here to the left, so the dock will be PO'd about that. The carrots and beets are coming up. Carrots to the left here, beets, the open leaf with the red base to the right. So we'll see if we get anything there. That's a little fun project. More on the onion, same phenomena. A little more floppy with the Elsa Craig, and less with the Patterson storage, but a few. And did I knock those over while weeding? Tomatoes. All right, tomatoes are wild. The Wisconsins are up to the 5th wire, and there are Wisconsin tomatoes, all over the place, which are going to be fun. And we tried to stop the insane growth of the sun gold cherry tomatoes, or at least stunt them a little bit, and force a few of these plants to start going red by clipping the ends of the plants. And you can see that here, pinching off or cutting the main runner and letting like 2 branches spin out wide. We did this several places here, and the idea is that if you do this, you will force the plant to start making fruit and stop making flowers and stop growing up. Because as you can see here, as the sun continues to move lower in the horizon, I don't want these things shading my Wisconsins here. So and it's not like we're not going to have enough of these. There are cherry tomatoes forming up all over the place on these sun golds. The good news is that there are tomatoes for every other ones of these plants too. More tomatoes, right? So we go take a look at here we're into the Sweet 100s, and you can see whole little clusters of cherry tomatoes forming. The early girls, as mentioned before, are probably something we should plant more of in Massachusetts, because there is a lot of fruit and they grew quickly, and it looks like these early girls are going to deliver, which is cool. And over here, the Jet Stars, a little less tomatoey than the others. The Supersonics have gotten big, and there are clusters of tomatoes within the Supersonic land that are really kind of fun. I think we're going to have plenty of tomatoes from the Supersonics. Now, I don't know if you can see it here, but these little spots on the leaves, the doc went through and tried to trim some of that up. That is some kind of a fungi that gets onto these plants, and we'll take them out slowly. Sadly, I tend to water by shooting water on the top, and the doc tells me not to do that. Water at the base. Maybe next year we'll attempt to water low, maybe set some system up. And let's see if we can see Wayner's. Boy, this is thick in here. Can we get Wayner's? Okay, can we see Wayner's oblongy aromas there. So there we go, aromas. The Defiance also seem to produce. Oh, by the way, we got about 3/8 of an inch of rain one day. That's it this week. Not happy. Not enough. The Defiance are coming along. Also getting tall. Pam's letting these kind of go just to see what happens. We'll find out. The butternuts are kind of droopy in this heat, but here's a fun little butternut fruit, which is occurring here on the ground. Must be 2 inches long, and hopefully won't be stepped on by some large mammal. All right, and now sadly the Zooks, you can see damage the doc has observed in here. Let's see if I can shade that and get maybe a better color. The doc's observed the annoying squash borer beetle in there, and it has clobbered some of the plants already. You can see some of these leaves are just dropping over, and she believes that's from the borer. And so we're slightly sad, but we have eaten a number of zucchinis and have more on the kitchen table.